Welcome back. It has been a month since our last garden diary video, and I wanted to go ahead and take you guys on a tour with me, and there's been so much growth that I wanted to make sure I documented it for myself. So let's take a peek on what's happening. Okay, we're going to start in the tomatillo jungle. This is 2 tomatillo plants. It has gotten absolutely humongous. I'm very glad I moved it. It would have taken over the spot it was in completely. So there's tons of tomatillo little lanterns, and this one feels like super hollow, but when they're closer to being done, they will have a fruit and it will slit open like that. So this is supposed to be a purple tomatillo, but plants don't turn purple unless they are getting the sunlight and they're soaking up that sunlight. So I'm giving it a little bit longer on the plant to try to get some of that purple. And you can tell the plant itself has the purple on the plant. So that little tomatillo just needs some more sun. But this thing is covered. We've got the borage over there with a cute little bee pollinating. Down here we've got the Navajo sunset agastache, and it looks like it may bud pretty soon. That's growing great. We've got our pumpkins along here. Now we did have, I need to trim some of these yellow ones. I wanted to show them to you though. So anything that looks like this or like this are getting trimmed today. I had one, this guy right here is gonna get trimmed off today. So we had some crazy rain, and I did not lift these up and put them onto something, and this area kind of flooded. So this back end of the pumpkin is squishy and wrinkly, and so I just want to cut it off so the plant doesn't focus only on that. We do have another pumpkin over here that's growing, and we're going to have another one right there that I pollinated yesterday. So hopefully we'll get some more off of this. And that's the Jahardal pumpkin. This pumpkin plant hasn't set. Oh, that one will be a Connecticut field squash pumpkin, an orange one. And this one over here is also a Connecticut field squash. It goes all the way down the bottom down here, and that's one that's been pollinated there. And I actually need to move the branch because it's gone up and it's trying to set a fruit all the way at the tip up there. And then back over here, this is the mountain mint that I started from seed. It smells delicious. I'm gonna start harvesting more of this and actually hanging it. Oh, I have a spider in there. How interesting that there's a spider web in with the mint. Mint is supposed to deter spiders. I find that kind of humorous. The peas are going to get taken out. They are no longer producing over here really, and one of them is very dead. So I'm just going to pull out these peas and leave that spot there just for the dirt to take care of the pumpkins. And then the corn is doing amazingly. I'm going to be hand pollinating this. So it's already tasseled up here, and then it's going to show fruit here, and I believe on this one maybe. Yeah, it's starting to let it out there. So I'm going to move those peas out so it gives that a chance, and hopefully the tomatillos don't take it over. Everything I planted against the back, I think that ground is too hard. The dragon bush bean may give me something, but it's showing signs of struggling, and it hasn't set any beans. So that's probably going to end up coming out. And then my noodle beans are finally growing up, but again, I have no sign of beans, and they are just being attacked like crazy by slugs. Like, these things, if they produce anything, I will be amazed, because they have been into the ground for a long time, and It's either the roots, the snails, or a combination of both. So I'm not counting those as a possibility at this point, but I'm still letting them grow. And then this lovely little beast right here is my zucchini. I'm going to come back out here and prune the leaves. I have been pruning off what looks like powdery mildew. This plant keeps getting it. So there's that one. This one, the variegated on it. And this one. So those leaves, you can see the powdery look on it. Those leaves are going to get cut off. I'm also going to be spraying a milk and water mixture on here. Now these have been producing zucchini. So there's a zucchini back there. And there's a zucchini down in there. This particular one has a bunch of little female blossoms. So if you don't know, this is a female because it has a zucchini on the end. And then the male blossoms, let's see if I can get you one. The male blossoms is like this one where it, where it does not have a zucchini on the end. So there's 3 zucchini plants in there. These peas I didn't think were going to do anything. They were kind of an experiment. They're dying from the bottom up. So if this one comes, great. If not, I'm just going to pull these out. It's really too hot in this area for them, and these are getting a lot of direct sun. Okay, and then down here we have our poblano peppers are getting taller. You can see all the growth there. And then this is that Dos de España or whatever pepper. That's going to be another really large one. The jalapeno, this is a regular green jalapeno, Craig's Grande. And it's doing great. No fruits yet, no flowers, but it's growing. This guy right here is having some struggles. I think a snail got it at first, but it's trying. Like, it's growing these 2 little things now. So I'm just going to let that go. If it grows, great. If not, then so be it. I think the jalapeno will take up enough space here. But that's a lemon spice jalapeno if it grows. This is a Corbaci sweet pepper. And they'll be long, curly, sweet ones. And then this is a habanada. This is that sweet habanero, no spice. So this one's really bushy. This is only one plant. Super, super bushy. We've got our Grande Bell and our Lilac Bell over here. And these are getting a lot of good growth. And then this is a mini bell. And this is a mini bell. And those will get, the bell peppers are like the size of a quarter on those. These are the Globo onions, and I started these from seed, not from sets. And they are doing great. There's not a big bulb yet, but I'm just continually coming out when I'm seeing them fall over like this. You could see where I've trimmed. I just keep coming out and trimming, and I'm going to end up this week dehydrating some of these. I've been just adding them to food, but I'm going to go ahead and trim these down pretty good because this one's fallen over a lot. And dehydrate so we have green onions. Over here, the patty pan squash that was there during the last video got powdery mildew really bad all over it. We've had some crazy rain and then heat and then rain and then heat and then hail and heat at the same time. So I just cut my losses on the Jenny melon that was in here and the patty pan squash, and I went ahead and replanted the Jenny melon, and I planted a watermelon in here. And so we'll see if these go. This corn is already tasseling up here. You can see the tassels. You can see the corns with the silks. So I'm going to be setting these up for pollination here pretty quickly. And I'm going to show you a tip on that in a minute. This is a zinnia. It's growing. Things keep trying to attack it, but it's growing. And we're going to come in here. These will end up switching locations, these two. This is a lemon squash. So it's kind of like a zucchini in the fact that it grows in a bush and you pick it off like a zucchini. So that'll end up right here. This calendula is doing great. Some of them have been going to seed, so I've been letting them go, and then I'm going to harvest the seed. Calla lilies are doing amazing. And then we're about to enter into the tomato jungle. So over here, this pineapple sage, I left this, that way I can show you the how bushy this gets. So this smells just like pineapple. And, oh, the moth came out of there, which means I gotta look for caterpillar eggs. The snails have been coming across it, you can see it here. So I'm gonna be harvesting any of these fresh tips. I'd harvest, like this branch, I'd come in and I'd harvest right here, just like basil, right above the pear. And then new leaves will pop out. And this is great for tea. And then this is the yellow pear tomato. And I got little yellow pears. And then I went ahead, these were free seeds that I got when I ordered from Baker Creek, and I want to save them. So I went ahead and I put this bunch of flowers into this bag, which will stop pollinators from getting in there. And I'm just going to come out and do this. And the wind gets through, so I know it's getting the wind, but let it self-pollinate. And then once those fruit are set, then I can take off the bag and I'll mark this branch. And then these pear tomatoes, I'll take the seeds out of, and then I could start this exact same plant from that. But there's tons of little flowers on this one. I am gonna have to add another support system to this because this one is too short. I'm pulling out suckers while I'm here, I can't help it. Whoop. Okay, in here we've got stevia, which is doing great. I think I'm going to trim that pretty soon. We've got the science experiment onion down there. And then my rosemary that I started from seed in January is doing amazing. We have got the blue creamberry cherry tomatoes, and there's lots and lots of flowers all over this guy. This is going to be huge. I don't see fruit quite yet. We've got lemon basil. This smells delicious. And then I replanted the seeds for lime basil. I think we got hit too hard with the rain. And it could have done some damage to my seeds. So I restarted those. I've got calendula going on here. This plant has a lot of seed pods on it. I really got to come out and spend some time in the garden this week. This guy right here is the Paul Robeson tomato, and these will be larger tomatoes. And I'm starting to get, the flowers are dying back, so I'm going to start getting the tomatoes in here pretty soon. This is supposed to be a very smoky one. So I went ahead and I bagged the flowers on here as well. And when those tomatoes form, then I will, again, mark this branch, and I will save the seeds from those tomatoes. Now, this tomato was my very first tomato that I planted, and this is the Bonnie Best, and there's tons and tons of fruit on here. So I will be saving, I can't even show you all the fruit on here. I will be saving seeds from these tomatoes down here because these set before any other flower blooms went. But there are seriously so many tomatoes throughout this plant. They're all over the place. So many blooms. This is going on to the second plant. And there's more back there. Tons and tons and tons and tons of tomatoes, which I'm super excited about. It is definitely patience to learn to wait for them to turn red. So half of their time growing, I guess, is them coming to the size they're going to be. And then the other half is waiting for them to turn red. So since it took them a while to get big, I'm assuming it's going to take them a while to turn red. But I am hoping that it comes soon because I am super ready. And then if you have questions about the bottom of this, I've had a few people comment. So some of the bottoms of tomatoes have that look to it, or you can see some funkiness there. And then some are like a perfect bottom to a tomato. Other ones have the lines. So that is because of the blossoms. So sometimes the blossoms have more than one blossom in it, in one flower. So that's a fasciated blossom, and it'll give you a cat-faced tomato, which is that mark. So it looks like this plant likes to give out fasciated blossoms, which is hard to tell. Like that one may be 2 blossoms in one, but I would rather have the funky tomato than to pull it off. And we got marigolds going good still. The calendula over here next to the Paul Robeson, there is the strawberry blonde calendula. This guy's coming out of here, so my bird bath that is not staying weighted well. So the strawberry blonde calendula is back here, and then this is that blue spice basil that smells delicious. At this point in time, when I come out and water, I bring my basket out with me with my little shears and a paintbrush. So if I need to hand pollinate my squash, I can. And if I need to harvest anything, I can. And I can put my basil in here and then go dehydrate it, or I can pick fruit or whatever. These are the Emily basils and the sweet basils. They're doing amazing. Got another zinnia here. You could say goodbye to this mint. It's going away. I'm done with it. It is, I got that as a starter plant, and I'm just pretty sure it's diseased. I don't even know what's going on with it. I've cut it back multiple times and let it just restart, and there's a problem with that particular plant. I've never had an issue growing mint like this, and so we're just going to get that out of here before it passes a disease to another plant. The oregano, this is the oregano I had from last year that I bought as a starter, and I keep trimming it. These are the ones I started from seed, and they are doing amazing. They're about ready to get harvested. There's some more peas over here. One's a snap pea and one's a shelling pea. So I think this is my shelling pea. And I just keep training them up the trellis here. Over here we've got the regular thyme, and I've harvested this a couple of times. And then I started some new seed. And so you could see in here, I gotta wait till they get a little bigger and make sure they're all thyme seeds and not the cottonwood seeds. And then the dark purple opal basil is finally growing back down here. It's time for it to be harvested. If yours gets green on it, do not worry about it. And it gets darker purple the more it's in the sun. So if it's not in the sun as much, you're gonna have more green on it. This is another, I believe, mamola basil. So it's ready to be topped. I keep topping it. Like right here where you see the 2. I would top it right here, and it keeps encouraging the bush. So later on I'm going to have a ridiculous amount of basil. But I've already given some away, and we've been using everything we get. So I'm excited. I really want to make some pesto. My strawberries I have been on the struggle bus with. So these ones have some fruit. I've got some. I'm going to come out this week and cut these off. The weeks I have my daughter right now, I'm not out here as much. In the weeks I don't, I am out here more. But I've got some new strawberries. Where is it on this one? Right here. I've got a strawberry there too. So some of the plants that have some dieback have new growth. So I just need to trim off the dead stuff. But we'll see. I'm just letting those go. My cilantro is still coming to seed. Let's see here. You can see the seed pods on it. That is coriander. So I've got to research how big or what they're supposed to look like before I take those off and save those. So this is coriander. You can use it as a spice, or you can pop it in and plant new cilantro plants with it. So I love cilantro. In this fall I plan on growing a ton. It's too hot to grow cilantro right now. This container is turning into my mustard container. I absolutely adore mustard. Never thought I would, but I absolutely do. We did have cabbage loopers on here. I took those off. I've been watching for them again. So these are the giant red leaf mustard, and I'm thinking because it gets more shade, that's why they're not like all red. But I planted some other mustard here and there and in here. So we got lots of mustard going. I got some chives on the back side, and I've got some new chives coming up right here. We got lettuce leaf basil, which got attacked by the cabbage loopers, and then 2 peas that I'm going to try to get to grow up that trellis thing right there. Our lavender's doing great. I went ahead and I started some Swiss chard in this pot. These are the Blue Lake bush beans. I pulled out all the beets that were in here, and you can see all the beans hanging from here. I'm really excited about this. And then these strawberries are all ones that I started from seed. Some have struggled, some are doing amazing. So I just need to water these up today. That's why the water's all over the place, because I am watering today. My nasturtiums underneath are trying. The snails are definitely after them, but they are trying their hardest. And then over here is my jungle. It's a corn jungle, bean jungle, and cucumbers. So I have one borage here, which is definitely drawing the pollinators in. The beans I'm having to keep wrapping around. They are all over the place. These are the purple potted beans. They are setting flowers again finally. And so I am excited because that should mean I'm going to be getting some beans pretty soon. So I have to check these every day, and I just come back here and I kind of just check out what's going on in the back, and I don't see any beans right now. I see corn pieces but not beans. And then down here I have a cucumber. This is a really long cucumber, the giant one. And then over here is a more of like a pickling style cucumber. See a little guy right there. And then this is a lemon cucumber. And you could tell the snails have been out over here. Snails or slugs, one of the two. So they're wreaking havoc. And that's what was eating my peas early on. You could see the damage back there. And that's why I think they stopped producing. I mean the beans. That's why they stopped producing. Okay, come out of this jungle. And I'm going to come over here. And we've got more beans. I already took 2 off of this plant. And they were yummy. And as we come up, you can see they're just like all over the place. But something is definitely getting them. This is a spaghetti squash that's, I was planning on growing it from down and having it go down on the ground. But I'll tell you what, it decided it wanted to come up the edge. And come up the edge it did. It came up and it went over all by itself, and it's just doing its thing. So I'm just letting it do its thing. Attached to the corn. That I probably will not allow. But I'll let that spaghetti squash keep going. And then look at how cute they look, like little trolls. So these are my little corn silks. And this is my first one that came to the tassel. And so what I did was every single one of these silks connects to a kernel. So if one of these silks don't get pollinated, then you will not get a kernel there. Basically what that means is you usually will plant your corn in big blocks and have it wind pollinate. And when you do it in the big blocks, you're more likely to get pollen from all the other tassels if you plant them at the same time, and it will pollinate all of the silks. But because of the fact that I have a small section here, not a huge one, and because some of my corn didn't do good at the beginning, so they're not all planted exactly at the same time, I have to hand pollinate. So I'll show you what I did to do that. Basically what I did is I took this little holiday bag, and I'm going to get some more paper bags because this is really not the greatest option. And this came open apparently, which I'll probably have to do it again. So basically I took this bag and I shook the pollen, and you can see all these loose pieces. So I shook that into that bag. Then I shoved all the silks in here, and I taped this closed, which now appears to be open. And the pollen is coming out, so that's not going to be great. So I'm just going to take it out. But you can see the pollen all on there. So I'm going to have to do this again because I really want to make sure every silk gets it. I might need a bigger bag. But once I did that, I put this on there, I taped it shut, and then I've been shaking it around. And I did that for one day. And you could see, like, these got a ton of pollen on them. But not all the other ones, I don't think, did. So I'm probably going to play with that some more and do that one again. This is the first time I've done this, so I'm really hoping that it works well. But I've got lots of corn to try it on. So I'm just going to keep going with it, and then I'll report back later on. My dragon tongue bush bean down here already produced one bean, but it is struggling, and I think it's the dirt it's in. This dirt is really, really hard, so I'm going to give it a really deep water today. And then this is a radish that went to seed, that I was letting flower and then go to seed. And these little pokey things are apparently the seed pods, and they're supposed to be good and taste like radishes. I have not tried them. I'm just kind of letting them do their thing, but it does like to hang. But I honestly don't know if neighborhood dogs have peed on it because of that, so I'm probably not going to eat them. But my lemon thyme is being awesome, and my lemon verbena, I've harvested this multiple times. I actually can probably harvest a few more off of that. My French lavender, if you notice, it has popped back. It is not super yellow again. It has been in a pot, this pot, for over a year. And so what I read was it probably needed to be fertilized. So I went ahead and put the all-in-one fertilizer in the container, and it did great. This is my Zlotyland chamomile. It's actually this afternoon. I'm going to have to come out here and harvest this. And it is, I call it my Mohawk chamomile. It is definitely going in a Mohawk form here. In the mornings, all the whites of the flower disappear. And they like tuck under or go above. And then in the afternoon, in the brightness of the sun, it opens back up like this, kind of, but a little fuller. And so what I'm learning is to harvest it when it is that dome, but in the middle of the day when the white's out. And so that's what I'm going to come back out here this afternoon. I was waiting to do this video to harvest this. So it is totally ready. And again, this is this Zlotyland one, and I keep drawing it. I have not made tea with it yet. I saved my aloe vera from up front that was given to me by a friend, so that's growing. And then this is the hummingbird agastache, and so that's growing. My sunflowers, I have one of the 10 or 12 foot ones right here. It's trying. And then look at this. So excited about this. This is my first sunflower. And it looks like it's gonna head more sunflowers. Looks like it's gonna have more. But I'm super stoked about my first sunflower, and this is a dwarf one, so it's meant to be this small. Oh, and this corner is kind of my happy and my sad corner. So my beans have been struggling. You can see all of the slime residue from slugs and snails. And I've harvested one bean out of this. I do have some new flowers on here. And new flowers on this one. And I have some new beans on this one. But I will tell you what, these slugs really like beans. So I am going to put a container of beer. Look at that. That poor plant has been demolished. And we love beans in our house. So I'm putting a container of beer in this pot today. And hopefully I will drown me some slugs. Or snails. These are poppies, breadseed poppies. They still have not bloomed. I know it's a little too hot for them now, so I'm hoping they still bloom. And then this is a yellow nasturtium. So I'm going to water those today, and hopefully they do something beautiful. My geraniums are starting to do, well, they're starting to bloom again. I think I need to come out here and deadhead the tops. I never have before, but I'm thinking I might need to do that this year. And then this Lottie-Land chamomile needs to be harvested. This is my new favorite freaking flower. Look at this beauty. Look how whimsical this is. And this is the bigger one. I think it needed more support than my container has to offer it. But this is a lemon bee balm. And I have not tried to harvest it for tea yet. But even if I don't like the taste of it, I will forever grow this. Like, it is just so whimsical and so pretty. And the wind is throwing it out of focus. I just absolutely love this. I've got my lemon balm is doing amazing down here. My marigolds are doing great. And then this was my Lottie-Land chamomile. My German chamomile got slaughtered by a snail. You could see it just stripped everything here. So I don't know if I'll get much German chamomile. I might just move that up front. We'll see. But look at that. I'm going to go back to that. So pretty. So pretty. And then right here I want to point out, so this is that container with the mustard. This was not like this yesterday. So, pretty sure I have a cabbage looper back. And I just need to figure out where it is. They blend into the leaves. They are like the same green exactly as the leaves. It's kind of crazy. So I'm gonna have to go through this and really look for the cabbage looper, which just makes me sad. But I want my mustard, so I'll tear that one off and make it go away.